Okay, guys. So carrying on this example with Carl Linnaeus of the 7 levels of that classification system. If we look at the lion, then we can see the lion featuring in every single one of these aspects of that system. So at the beginning element, there's all these other animals, including various cats, but also including other animals like penguins. As we move down, we can see that we've now got rid by the vertebrates of some of those animals which have their skeletons in other places rather than running through us as the vertebrates do. Then we can start getting rid of some of the animals which are not mammals. So, if you see that fish has now disappeared, but we've still got that line. And we get rid of any herbivores as we move through to carnivoria. The family, then, the Felidae, it removes the polar bear and some of the other animals, such as the koala. Moving through, then, looking at the type of cat, we've then got to the Panthera, and finally the Panthera leo, because within that type of cat, there is that leo. Okay, guys. Now, an example here of it's called the Testudo gracia. Okay, and I apologize for my attempts at pronunciation, but that's the spur-thighed tortoise. Okay, so again, Animalia, the kingdom of animals. In the phylum of Chordata, because it's a vertebrate, it's a reptile rather than a mammal, so it's different to our lion from earlier. It's a chelonia, so it's the turtles and tortoises is the order it's in. Within that, it's within the tortoises element, the family Testudinae. The genus is Testudo. Okay, so that's why the first part of its name is Testudo, and then the species is the Testudo greca. Okay, so that's the type of animal it is. Just have a think if you can now. Think of the class there where we've got reptilia. Okay, so can you think of other reptiles that would go in that same class, that would be in that same broad group, in that third level group in the reptilia? Then can you think beneath that, as well as this spur-thighed tortoise, what else would be in the chelonia order? What else is in that turtles and tortoises grouping? Just have a think if you can about those. Okay, guys. Similarly, here we've got there another animalia. This time, rather than having an animalia that is a vertebrate, we've got an animalia that is in the phylum of Arthropoda. Okay, and that's then the class of insects. Okay, the order of Hymenoptera, so 2 pairs of wings. If you see on the back of that honeybee, it's got 2 pairs of wings. It's in the family of Apodae, the genus of honeybees, so Apis, and therefore the species is Apis, so honeybees, and then Mellifera is the grouping within these species that it is. Okay, and we can see the Apis mellifera. Okay, now there are within the Apidae, the family, there are 20,000 species. 20,000 species. And again, that talks to why it was so important when Carl Linnaeus was thinking of his system, this classification process, that there was a way of breaking down the different animals into those specific groupings, because otherwise you might be talking about one type of bee and I'd be talking about another one. And if I learned something about one, but it didn't apply to yours, I couldn't share that learning. I couldn't help you with your science. So that language point's really important. It made it simpler for scientists to understand things. Your work today, guys. First thing, you've got that vocabulary. And then I'd also like you to have a go at a mnemonic. Now, if you remember our work on mnemonics in the past, when you've been younger, you've looked at the compass. So never eat shredded wheat is a way of learning the compass north, east, south, west. You might have thought about, we talked about it earlier with fractions in the year, where we were talking about how when we find the fraction of amount, we divide by denominator, multiply by numerator. So DBD, MBN. Okay, DBD. And we sometimes say dirty boys do many bad news. I can't think of one off the top of my head, guys. You'd think of a better mnemonic than that. Stay in your head. So DBDMB Okay, that would be that for divide by denominator, multiply by numerator. What I'd like you to try and think about is get Carl Linnaean about it. So think about Carl Linnaeus. How could you learn the domain, kingdom, film, class, order, family, genus, species? Now, the domain we can not worry too much about, okay, because we haven't looked at that today, but that's almost a grouping before we go into kingdom. So if we just think about KPC, OF, GS. Can you learn? Can you think about a way of remembering that? So the one at the bottom says, "Keep precious creatures organized for grumpy scientists." I like that one. But could we change scientists? Could we change keep? Can we change some of these words so we've got our own mnemonic for remembering those 7 elements of the Carl Linnaeus system of classification? Okay, second element of your work then. We've got some classification examples, and what the example of the reptiles and the mammals should support you in completing that blue piece of work where you identify which grouping different animals go in, and then fill in the different sections as they go through, like we did with our lion, where they had different groupings as they go through. Third part, and if you do this, I'll be really impressed. So a bit of an extension for here to read about Carl Linnaeus. Okay, so the first part of this is some reading to do. And then can you pretend for a minute you're Carl Linnaeus? Now, don't worry, Jeremiah. I don't expect you to put the wig on. I don't expect you to speak Swedish. And I don't expect you to be 300 years old. What I do want you to do is try and answer the questions that he is being asked in this interview. So based on your knowledge of his science and based on your knowledge of him in this little article, it's only a few paragraphs, what do you think his responses would be here? If you want to dress up as Carl Linnaeus and speak Swedish, you can do, but you don't have to. Okay, guys, I look forward to seeing that. Thank you very much for your focus and your attention over the 2 videos today. I've really appreciated that, and I've really appreciated your work on Zoom. Sorry, conversations on Zoom. So see you later. Bye-bye.